Welcome to the Recovery Revolution Live. My name is Carl, one of the co-hosts of the show, and welcome everybody. I hope everybody is having a great day today. Happy Thursday to everyone. We're going to be joined by Brett Morris today. He's the only other host that was available. Miss Ashley Grimes has taken the evening off, so I hope that she's doing well. Maybe she's watching the show, so keep an eye on the comments. And I hope everybody's having a great day out there. My day was fantastic today. Had a really good day at work today. And, really felt accomplished today. It was great getting all of this work done. I work as a clinical supervisor at a rehab, and I get to go over documentation and see how the staff is progressing with their documentation standards and stuff. And it was really neat to go in and see how they're progressing and the progress that they're making, documenting the client's journey through the treatment and rehabilitation journey and program. So having a really good day today. We have a special guest today. Alex Kaplan is going to be joining us from Of Substance, and I'm going to bring him in just a few minutes. But just a few housekeeping tips here. So if you guys would like to subscribe to the show, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And also don't forget to hit the bell. That way you'll be updated and notified anytime that we load any videos. Maybe you've missed the live show, and it's going to send you a notice directly to your phone. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you're on YouTube. And if you're viewing on Facebook, please go over to the YouTube channel so that we can get those likes over there. Greatly appreciated. We appreciate everybody for your patriotism and everything going on. So let me go ahead, and we're going to bring Alex in. And Alex is from Of Substance, and they are doing short videos. So it's a video production company, and it's really cool because they are telling the stories of recovery, telling the stories of addiction, telling the stories of mental health through their videos. And it's not just for the end user that is, maybe the person on YouTube that's going to be looking at the videos, but they're also designed to be used within the treatment facilities as conversation starters. So a lot of really good stuff going on. So we're going to bring Alex in right now. And Alex Kaplan, welcome to the Recovery Revolution live show today. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Carl. Hi. It's good to be here.
Yeah. So you and I were able to do an interview a few weeks ago, and your episode just aired on my show, the Drunken Worm podcast, this week, actually. So a lot of really good stuff going on. And that interview that I did with you was amazing because I'm a movie buff. And I know you're a movie buff. And so I kind of felt like we fed off of each other during the interview, talking about the way that films can deliver messages to us and the emotional response we get from films, and just the kind of the dynamic of how things are presented on a screen with music and acting and everything else to convey messages. So we're really happy to have you on the show here, Alex. How's your day been today, man?
It's been good. It's been, just like most days, where it's like every day is a little manic, where it's just like super highs, super lows, and just like, even though like nothing bad has happened, that like inner a-hole just starts telling you everything's bad, but it's not, and it's just like just another day.
Just another day overall in the neighborhood. Yeah, that's good, man. So tell them. Oh, my day has been fantastic, man. I was telling them that I get to do all this clinical documentation and seeing the growth of the staff through their documentation standards and seeing the documentation improve each week. Because I go over each client file on a weekly basis, and then I write a report out to each staff member, and then I give it to them, and then we have a corrective action plan that they're responsible for coming up with a solution on, saying, okay, so if your standards was here, how can we get your standard to come up here now? So, and then that's really good, because then when we get audited, it shows that we're tracking the way that the staff is doing things, and that we're also implementing the training that goes behind it. So yeah, so really good stuff today, man. It's been a really good day. Really good day.
Yeah.
So yeah. So, and I see Brett just popped on here, so he'll be joining us in just a few seconds. So Alex, can you tell us a little bit about Of Substance?
Yeah. Hi, Brett. What's up, man?
Hey, sorry guys, I'm a little tardy to the party.
Oh, no worries, man. Tardy to the
You're
party.
all
I like
good.
that. Hey,
Yeah.
Alex,
Nice to see you.
could we name one of your movies Tardy to the Party?
That's a great idea. Actually, I'm going to write that down.
Yeah, please. I'll be here all night.
Good call. I like Party to the Party.
Party
But that's such a
to
good
the
idea,
party,
because
man.
it's just like, I think about it, and I think like every time I hear anything, I'm just like, oh my God, that'd be a great film. That's such a great idea. That's such a great something, because like Tardy to
Yeah.
the Party is just kind of how we all feel, I
Yeah.
think, when we're using or
Yeah.
when we're like starting to get sober or whatever we're coming out of, because it's always just like we all feel like we're always behind. Right? Like I'm
Right.
not enough and I haven't gotten there fast enough. So like honestly, I really like this idea of Tardy to the Party, right?
Yeah, dude. Brett, thank you very much for that. I hope you're not planning on putting that on the t-shirt, because I think Alex just grabbed the copyright for that.
Man, I like to share.
But yeah, but I also think we should do another one called Fear the Beard. In honor of Mr. Brett Morris, who I don't know if you've ever met him or have seen him, but he is sitting adjacent to us right now, and his beard is definitely on point today, buddy. I'm glad you. Yeah. Did you shower today too, Brett?
I did. That's why I'm late, because I got home 2 minutes before the stream started, and I was like, I have got to take a shower.
Yeah.
It's a must.
Yeah. Well, when you're cleaning
because we can
septic,
smell you through this.
right? Well, when you're cleaning septic systems
That's
all day
not
at
what I
work.
do.
Oh, buddy, I've missed you.
Okay. What did I step into?
This is going to be a great show, Alex. But Alex, why don't you talk a little bit about Of Substance and how your short films are helping the recovery community?
Yeah. So thanks guys. Thanks for having me here. Hi everybody. I'm Alex, and I'm a human. Right. I am somebody who struggled with substances on my own. And even though I don't use substances to run away and escape anymore, I still use other things to escape sometimes, because I'm a human. And that's kind of the biggest thing I learned in getting sober for me, is that my issue is far less about using substances than it is about why I use substances. And underneath, it's about shame. It's about a fear of not belonging and a fear of not being good enough. So, that's what I learned on my journey. And so what I also happen to be a filmmaker. And so my co-founder and I were making a short film one time, and we realized that like there's just a missed opportunity in the short films that are being made and the way that movies are being provided. So we started Of Substance. We're an innovative nonprofit that makes premium, entertaining short films, mini movies you truly like watching, from rom-coms to thrillers and everything in between, but about addiction, about mental health, about trauma, to help all of us overcome the shame, blame, and stigma we experience in our struggles. We're working toward a world where we all feel seen, heard, and loved, where you walk into every room knowing that you are already enough, and where movies are our most powerful tool for healing and growth. So what we recognize we do with movies, and you experience this every day, every time you watch an episode of Mrs. Maisel or you watch Jaws, you just get pulled in. What movies do is they create an instantaneous, inescapable emotional experience, which is how we best learn and create the intrinsic motivation to grow. So Of Substance is turning movies into a small, tiny tool to help prime viewers emotionally, so that whatever activity follows, be that treatment, be that a discussion, be that class, be that training, it's more likely to have the impact that we all hope for it to have, that we're all working toward. So yeah, we make movies and we like to share them so that people can watch them, as you can watch them at home, but also building programs around them to go into treatment, into therapy, into training, into corporate, into hospitals, into education, and more. There's so much more to what I do, but that's a good start. But go check it out at ofsubstance.org. You can read all about it in a really concise way. We worked really hard, finally getting to that really concise language. But
Yeah. And Alex, excuse me, that language that we talk about, there's quite a few different languages that go on when we think about communication with somebody, right? We have nonverbal cues, we have verbal cues, and emotions and everything. And the way that I really love describing language to somebody is, have you ever seen somebody do American Sign Language? Like somebody that really knows what they're doing. I have a friend, her name is Kay, and she is an interpreter for ASL. She was also raised as a CODA, which is a child of deaf adults. And so when I interviewed her on the show, we talked about language and we talked about verbal cues and we talked about nonverbal cues. And their verbal cues are with their hands, right? And so if you watch one of them sign, they have such wonderful facial expressions. The expressions with their hands can also, just be something that tells the story without having to see the face. But she said one of the things that she has her interns do to learn how to be a ASL interpreter is that they have to tell a story without using ASL. They can only tell the story with facial expressions.
That's amazing.
And yeah, and I think it's so amazing to think about that, because I talk with my hands, especially when I'm on the show. I mean, you would think I was from New York or something, but but to think about that and to think about the way that we do verbal cues and nonverbal cues right now, and the emotion and everything else that can come across in a movie is so amazing. What are some of the challenges that you guys face when it comes to relaying the correct emotion or the correct message that you want to bring to your viewers?
Wow, what a good question. I love this show. I love being on your shows. You have such good questions.
Thank you.
Okay. So it's really funny that you brought that up. What I was thinking about is I have a script that I'm writing right now that we shot a film just before COVID, and I recognized while editing it that like every time the camera was not on the person who was listening, the cinematographer would move it and readjust. And I was like, no, that's the best footage is of
Hmm.
people really listening and taking it in. I think that's
Yeah.
so amazing. So I'm writing a script right now that I have like it's currently entitled OTS, over the shoulder, and the
Hmm.
whole thing is over one person's shoulder, uncut, while looking at the person who is listening.
Wow.
And the person who's right here is talking the whole time. And what we
Yeah.
want to do is we want to go through the entire story and the emotional
Hmm.
journey that this character goes through, of breaking down, of crying, of listening, of coming back up, of being encouraging, of laughing at a joke,
Hmm.
and really seeing that. So I couldn't be more in there with you, man. Like
Hmm.
I think it's so beautiful to find, because most of our communicative, like the our not triggers, but the way we communicate, even when we're speaking, is so there's so much subtext in the way that we present, in the way that we look, in the facial expressions we make, in our body language. And that's what's so fun about film and movies, is like it picks up on the slightest thing. And
Yeah.
so sometimes I got to be honest, we can only create intention
Hmm.
when making a film for what we hope to get across. But they say that movies are made 3 times. They're made when
Hmm.
scripting it, they're made again when shooting it, and they're made
Hmm.
again in the edit, because you just see things once it's shot that you didn't notice, and
Yeah.
you start to put together this puzzle of pieces that you didn't necessarily mean to make,
Right.
but you have a blueprint, right? And
Hmm.
so the idea is just like, let it go,
Yeah.
just like do your best and write it and see if the language and the story comes through there enough
Mhm.
to like guide the actors and everybody on set to capture enough that's in line, so
Mhm.
that you can have enough of a treasure trove to really put something wonderful together that you never expected in the edit. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah. No, it,
Yeah.
it it really does, because I love the fact that you say a movie is written 3 times. Once when you're conceptualizing the movie and you're putting it out on paper during that process, and again during the process of acting the movie out and filming the movie and getting the different angles and getting the different points of perspective, and and all the things, your b-roll, your main shots, and everything that puts that all together, But then you have the editing part. And the editing part is where you finally start to polish that movie. You add orchestral music, or you add background sound effects. And these are all things that enhance what the viewer is experiencing with the movie. Could you imagine Forrest Gump without the piano soundtrack, with that fucking feather falling to the earth? That would be the stupidest thing I've ever fucking seen.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I had a question for Alex. So do you find it challenging in the editing process to make cuts and keep it as a short film? Is there like a lot of internal strife? Like, do I keep it? Do I not? Or does it just kind of come naturally of like, oh yeah, cut that?
Dude, it kills me every time. We've got this term that's kill your darlings, because it's just like what you think is going to work. Yet your script is 12 pages long, and you need to write that script so that the story gets out there, and then you need to shoot the script so that you have everything. But then once that editing process comes in, my co-founder and co-director and co-writer Brian and I, we're always there for each other. We're like, he's just like, Alex, I know this is your baby, but we can cut these 4 minutes out in the middle of it and it'll work way better. I'm like, oh, I fucking hate you, but you're so right. Okay, fine. Cut it. And then like, I do it for him. We're editing another film that's more like his baby right now. And I'm just like, Brian, we're just like, and it's tricky though, man. It's really hard. But it's so funny because like, once you have all this, so many different films can be made from one film. You just have to start making choices of just like, and it's never going to be the best one. You're never going to figure out the perfect film. So the more we do this, luckily we make short films. So it's just like we do it more and more and more often. So we just get better and better at just like letting go.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And and I think that there is such good, I love extras. Like I'll buy the movies on the Apple iStore or whatever they call it. And I love the fact that I get the extras with it. I get that B-roll footage. I get the interviews afterwards and kind of that story behind where did this idea originate from to create this story that we're telling through film. And I find a lot of times that I get even more. I like the extras sometimes even better than I do the movie, because it's so interesting to get into the mindset of the actors, or to get into the mindset of the producer or the director, to see what direction they want to take the film, right? Because directors are the people that are on set directing the film, but the producer is kind of the person that oversees the whole production of the movie. Is that correct?
Yeah. I think that's really interesting that you bring that up, because I lost my train of thought. Totally lost my train of thought. Holy crap.
So I was talking about directors directing the movie, and the producer is there to oversee the whole production of the movie. And you said it was really interesting that I brought that up, and you were happy that I brought that up. And
I was so happy you brought that up. And then I read a comment and I was like, oh shit, what was I going to say?
Alex is bringing the fire. David, you threw Alex off.
Fire. Well, I think that when it comes to direction and producing, it's all a team, right? Oh, this is what I was going to say. Hi.
Fantastic.
So I think that, so often we're finding with our social media that it's just like people want to see the behind the scenes all the time. Like people want to feel more a part of it. And that's what my team was saying today. But I think it's deeper than that. I think that there's like, you want to see what happened behind it to make it this polished piece. But same with our stories, founder stories, the hero's journey, our stories as human beings, why you guys have this show about telling the true gritty stories of ugliness and how we get there. And it's just like, there's so many podcasts and so many blogs and so many books about like the journey to Uber, right? Like the journey to building this thing, because it's so interesting. I don't want to see the perfect thing. I want to see what was the grit behind it. How hard was it to make? Like where did people laugh together and cry together? right? So
Yeah.
it's just like that behind the scenes is another layer of like, what were the obstacles? What did you have to bring in? Holy shit, is that a fucking crane? Did they use a crane to take this shot? It's like,
Right.
what must that have been like, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's so fascinating, man. And you know, the other thing that I really love now, which I have seen, so I watch golf a lot, and the PGA Tour has like amped up their TV experience, and they've changed their field of vision when it comes to the up close kind of tracking of the players. So for those of you that might not be familiar with that, you can change your f stops and do all that stuff, and now you have a blurred background with the frontal focus on your subject. And before, it used to be everybody was in focus. So but now it creates that dramatic effect of what's blurry behind the person, and now that person is now in the center of your attention, which I think
It's
is really
portrait mode
interesting.
on
I've
your
never
phone.
seen, yeah, and portrait mode will do the same thing on your phone. And I've never seen a sports channel do that before. And they just started doing it, I think, this year or last year. But also the technology of drones. Drones have given every single person the ability to create cinematic effect with overhead shots, with moving shots. And if you have enough money, maybe your drone's going to follow you around the neighborhood. Who wouldn't want that? Right. But
But you got to get licensed for a drone, and then
right
you need
now you
permits
do.
and everything else. I
Yes.
actually like try to stay away from drones because
Yeah.
with us, we're trying to make like short pieces of content that we can make
Mhm.
really fast that are just as effective. So I'm always
Right.
thinking about like, how can I do what I can with what I got from where I'm at? And that's how we
Yes.
made our first 8 films. We just needed a proof of concept to show people.
Mhm.
And we made 8 films in 8 months shooting. Sometimes we shot some 6 of our first films, we shot 2 a
Mhm.
day. And the way we did that
Wow.
was not having a lot of shots, not having a lot of setup, figuring out
Right.
how to tell a story without having to move the camera much, without many
Right.
actors, without a fucking drone. Right? And I think that that's
Right.
but then there's those times where you want the drone, where it really
Yeah.
adds something to the effect and it really pulls you in.
Mhm.
And I think that
Yeah.
that's what we're starting to get to explore a little bit more. Nobody's ever really had the opportunity to make quality short pieces
Mhm.
with intention like this, and
Yeah.
that's what we figured out. We make our films as Habitat for Humanity builds houses.
Right.
We engage film professionals and real people in a day of service on
Mhm.
set with us, but
That's great.
instead of for the dollar value, it's to connect with people, feel connected,
Right.
create a sense of community, a sense of purpose and service, and be a part of something bigger than yourself.
Alex, I love the fact that you just mentioned that, because part of the program, you know, that I work with Brett's program too, being of service is part of the way that we give back to the community that has given us what we feel that has given us so much. And even the podcast is a way that we're giving back to the community, to the recovery community, to the mental health community. And I love the fact that you're bringing in professionals that are donating their time to make these short films. And am I correct to say that you're even bringing in film students that are going to film school to help produce and to help work on the films?
Yeah, we're still building the mechanism of like regular film production. So like we're still just getting started. We have our next shoot happening next month, which is really exciting. But
Hmm.
I have my intern is a Temple student from Philadelphia who wants to be a filmmaker, and she's going to
Hmm.
join us on set, and she's going to help us there. We want to get to a point for sure of having programs where we're bringing in college students and more and everybody
Hmm. Yeah.
to just like, have you always wanted to try acting? Have you wanted to like know what it's like on set? We want you to come be a part of it. We want
Yeah.
to bring movies off of the pedestal that they live on, because like we're always just watching movies and we wish we could be a part of them. Well, now you can, and you can be a part of it with a purpose and a mission. So
Yeah.
yeah, we're trying to set that up so we can start working with universities, with colleges, with film students, and encourage other people to make their own films and give them a place where they can live and a
Mhm.
platform where they can help other people. I think that's the biggest issue is like people have been making short films for decades upon decades, but they don't
Yeah.
do anything. Now we're giving them a place to live and a place to make impact.
Absolutely. I love this concept so much. And you and I geeked out over films in our last interview. And man, it's just such a good interview. Man, I love interviewing you. Like, I almost like want to do another podcast, and Brett's gonna roll his eyes because he and I had a conversation before I got on this show.
I was gonna say you said the complete opposite like
Right.
2 hours ago.
Yeah, I know. Okay. But here, but I think it would be fun to do like a movie review podcast. And I know there's lots of them out there, but Alex, I think you and I could actually like throw some good things out there, and we could do a Siskel and Ebert movie review. Oh, Brett, I have an idea. We can wrangle Alex, ask Alex very politely to maybe every quarter we could do a recovery movie review. Oh.
Are you kidding me? I've been looking for that. I would love that.
What if we had that as
a new film?
What if we had that as a segment, and we could highlight some of your films, but we could also highlight some of the recovery films that are currently out there, like 28 Days or the one with Machete, Danny Trejo story. Yeah.
Machete. No, but then you've got like Beautiful Boy, and you've got you've got everything. So many, but also, we're meeting so many great filmmakers who already have great films that are about addiction. I watched this like award-winning short film the other day. I met the filmmaker of it called Boo. That's about like how she becomes a vampire every time like she falls off and she drinks, and the monster comes out, and it's just like
that's
holy
great.
Shit, this is amazing. We should do an episode around that, right? And it's just like always with like maybe we watch like two shorts and we talk about them, but there's so many great pieces out there about just not just like addiction recovery, but suicide, bipolar disorder, and everything. It's just like, hey, what do you struggle with, and what do you have shame around? Let's talk about your film. That'd be cool. I'm in,
dude. Let's do it. Maybe like every third month we could have one episode dedicated towards shorts or films or something like that, Brett, where we could show maybe like portions of a short film, depending on how long the short might be, if that makes sense, or the entire short film, and then we can make comments about it while it's happening, and kind of dissect the film a little bit to understand the message better. And maybe even we could even get the people that made the film on to interview and talk about the film.
So we actually do this. This is what Of Substance does. Of Substance has a program called Movies and Conversations. And so like we do keynotes and workshops, but it's a live screening experience where we just come into your community, your church, your synagogue, your company, your school, and we just we watch a couple of movies and then we talk about them. But like, because we watch a 4-minute movie first that immerses you in entertainment and primes you emotionally, that conversation that happens afterward, it's a really deep and vulnerable conversation where people, strangers, start talking about things that they wouldn't usually talk about with the people closest to them. And it's this really wonderful, engaging, immersive, and entertaining healing experience that just like helps all of us grow. So however I can help, like, I'm happy to.
I always fire off these great ideas, and Brett's like, "Oh, Carl's here. Carl goes again." But I think this is one that we should try to follow up on, Brett. I think it would be good. Yeah,
and that'd be really good. We could even start tonight because Alex was kind enough to send me a couple of his shorts.
This is right, man. This is like going to the Oscars tonight. I feel like it's such a privilege to talk about these things,
But that's the idea, right? We're taking it off the pedestal,
and we're sparking conversation.
It's everything. Yeah.
So, okay. So Alex, why don't you tell us a little bit about the film that we're going to show? And guys, we're going to be watching one of Alex's short films here. And Alex, we talked about, well, you weren't here, but we talked about, was it Trapped or Band-Aids? I forget.
We're gonna do
Trapped.
Trapped.
Okay, so can you give us a little backstory behind Trapped and what Trapped is about, and kind of what people can expect from seeing it?
Actually, I'd rather not.
Oh, okay. Okay, we're just going to
How's
show
that?
it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Is that cool?
Okay.
Let's
Yeah.
do it.
I'm sorry to disappoint you.
No disappointment, man, because you're still going to be here at the end. So, yeah.
I will. I will be
Yeah,
here. It's just 4 minutes
absolutely.
long. Everybody strap in and
Okay.
grab your popcorn and
Yes. Grab your popcorn, no bathroom breaks. And Brett, push the button.
Oh. I'm so sorry. I gotta get back to the office. I'm already late.
I was thinking about stopping home tomorrow.
Yes? Oh, Mom and Dad would love to see you. They won't believe it. In a good way.
No, I
mean,
know. I got it. Don't worry.
But this was great. It's so good to see you, Ames. You look great. You sound great. I can't even begin to tell you.
I know. Thanks, Matt.
Amy, I'm so proud of you. How far you've come. I can't even imagine how hard it
Thank
must
you.
have. Ah, you look so good. Can we do this again, ASAP?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
But get out of here.
All right. Okay. Bye. Let's chat this
Yes,
week.
yes,
And we'll
go.
set something. Okay.
Go.
All right. All right. Bye.
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 Can I take this?
No, yeah, totally.
Can't get redeemed with the silk of your skin. I won't be redeemed if I gave up on my sin. I find no redemption at the end of this pen, like the soft, slow redemption at the bottom of my gin. Spare the twisted if you spare the no one. Spare the wine. Spare the wicked. Spare the blind. Spare the blind. You're a hungry ghost with your past. Your appetites are backwards, you better change course fast. A quick dry wash keeps a clean glass, where a holy rolling ocean needs a solid sail. No one is spared on this planet that we spin. The unfortunate redemptions at the bottom of my gin. Spare the twisted if you spare the same. Spare the spare the aim. Spare the whiskey if you're sparing the wine. Spare the wicked. Spare the blind. Spare the twisted if you spare the saints. Spare the wicked, spare the blind, blind.
All right. Wow. That is super impactful, Alex. I can't really tell you exactly. And I just put in the question, how did the film make you feel? Um, man, I can relate to that so much. This feeling like no matter what direction you want to go to escape, really, you are only giving yourself that one choice. And if you want to take a step back to try to get away, if you want to go left, if you want to go right, and it's that draw to that addiction that keeps bringing us back to move forward in the direction towards more destruction in our lives and more danger down the path, and and all these things. And even the music, man, the music, I mean, talking about leaving all your troubles behind with whiskey, and it's just so well done. And I can see how you could make one of these relatively quickly, because with that one you only had really two points of view for a scene. You had it kind of in the front, it was moving a little bit, and you had the different perspectives from both of the actors. And then it was just kind of the one actor standing at the bar trying to leave. But that invisible box that's around them, really well done, man. Really well done.
Thank you. Brett, what do you think?
Man, I was blown away by that. It was so simple, but like Carl was saying, man, I can just relate to that message so much. Just that those feelings of not knowing, of just that feeling trapped. Like I have
Mhm.
no other choice than to return to this vice. Like I don't know
Right.
how else to go on. And even that the first opening scene with the brother, and he's like congratulating her and telling her how good she looks, and
Mhm.
mom and dad are excited to see you, and then that internal struggle of being stuck at that bar and just being able to relate to that, of like that like back and forth of like doing good for a short period
Mhm.
of time, and people in your life are starting to notice, and then you have
Right.
like this struggle of like feeling that pull back to that addiction. Like, man, that was fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you,
And
man.
Brett, I think that there was also that question, could she have gone with him? Because she said, no, 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 go, go, go. And it was
Mm,
implied that she was saying, I'm going to be fine here at the
yeah,
bar
yeah, yeah.
by myself.
Mm,
And, and I think there is that question that can be raised. Would she have had the same trapped feeling had she had that extra support person to take her out of that situation? And the
mm-hmm.
big question for me is, why are they meeting in a bar? Where is her mindset to meet somebody at a bar, right?
Who says it's a
So
bar and not just a restaurant? Don't most restaurants have bars these days?
this is true.
True.
This is true.
And
I
that's
mean,
the thing, though. I think
yeah,
that all of these are fair questions, and these are not to our films are not to tell you how it is. Our films are just there to start these
yeah.
very challenging conversations, but to start them in a way that's connected. And so
Mhm,
when I lived with my mom for 5 years while trying to get
mhm.
sober
Yeah.
and kept falling and falling and falling, and finally I had this two-page script. It's a two-page script because there's not much in it. And I hand it to her and I say, like, "Would you read this?" She reads it. She turns to me and she says, "Is this really what it's like for you?" I said, "Yeah, mom. This is what it's like for me." And then we had to pull the car over and hold each other for the next 25 minutes crying,
Mm,
because that was the moment when she finally related to
yeah.
not like the habit of falling off the wagon and drinking when you're not supposed to, but
Mhm.
of trying and failing at something over and over and over. That
Yeah.
is human. It's not unique to addiction.
Right.
That's just overcoming adversity and struggle. We're all struggling with
Mhm.
something, and we're all just like we're all dealing with I'm not good enough, and we're all
Yeah.
dealing with relapse in some way or another. And so that was the moment when my mom finally moved the conversation beyond why can't you stop
Mhm.
drinking, and to I see you, I love you, I'm with you.
Yeah.
And that's the magic of what can happen right there. But then these films, like in your hands, Carl, in
Mhm.
group or in treatment, are just like, look at all these questions, right? Like
Yeah.
we can talk about family dynamics, we can talk about relapse, we can
Right.
talk about feeling trapped, we can talk about the urge, we can talk about early recovery, but
Mhm.
also like I think one of the best questions that came up or best concepts that came up in one of the groups that I showed these in
Mhm.
was, when do you think she actually relapsed? And
Mm.
somebody brought this up and they were like, she relapsed before she even left the table. That was
Yeah.
the white walls were the manifestation of that. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh shit.
It's so interesting you say that, Alex, because that is exactly what I was thinking. And as soon as the film ended, I wanted to ask that, but I was like, oh, but I want to ask these other ones. But the question really is, when do we really start that relapse process? A lot of professionals will say we start a couple weeks before we actually have a relapse. And we look at behaviors and we look at patterns and we look at the way that people are acting or maybe not acting, around people that they're familiar with, starting isolation, starting to revert back to old habits. um you know for me, it was getting onto my phone at like 3 in the morning and texting one of my buddies who was like, oh, he's on Facebook right now, I wonder why he's up. And sending a message saying, hey man, what are you doing right now? Like, it's 3 in the morning. And that's
Yeah.
when but my relapse had started days before that, because I was building up to the point of reaching out to somebody, even though I told myself I was reaching out with no intention of using, but these are
My
the lies that I was telling myself too.
my relapse would start like 6 months in advance because like as soon as like this was back when I was still drinking, my wife would be like, "Oh, I'm going home to Cincinnati the weekend of
Mhm.
September or something." And I'm already
Yeah.
like, okay, that's locked in. That's when I'm
Yeah.
drinking,
Right.
right? But
Mm.
what's so interesting about that and listening to what you were saying was just like I thought about that and I'm just like, my wife is currently in Cincinnati. She just went home. Guess what I
Oh,
still do?
dude.
I still do that,
Right.
but not with alcohol. I do it with
Right.
food, or I do it with
Oh
TV.
man.
I'm gonna binge on the couch. So really, it's so interesting to think that like I may have learned to stop using substances, but my habits are still the
Hmm.
same. And it's just
Yeah.
like, is this actually serving me? Does it make me feel good? And it doesn't.
Right.
I fucking hate it, man. I hate how like I'll stay up late until my eyes are burning, not even
Right.
paying attention to
Right.
what I'm watching, but just
No,
because like
not at
it
all.
can or this is gonna be great or
Right.
something. But
Mhm.
yeah, man, and but I'm already
Exactly, dude.
planning it 6 months in advance,
Oh
you
yeah.
know?
Oh, I would have the same thing because I lived at home during, and I still live at home now, but it's by choice, right? Back then it was by necessity because otherwise I was going to be homeless. But when mom and dad leave now, before they would lock the whole house up, I had access to like the refrigerator in my room and the bathroom, and that was about it. And so, but my relapse or my intention of, man, this is going to be the big party period. But like you, it wasn't just substances that I would relapse on. I would relapse on food. I would go to the store and I would buy 4 large pizzas and eat those over a course of a week and a half. And what I noticed is that I still have some of those tendencies to want to do that when I hear them say, oh, hey, by the way, we're going to be going over to the East Coast for 3 weeks and we're going to need you to watch the house. And so what I find is that a lot of times on my drive home from work, working a responsible job, I have the urge to go buy 4 large fucking pizzas. And, but I have the skills now to analyze it, to look at it, to recognize it rather than just to act on it. Right. And I think that that's where we move from that early recovery stage into a sustained recovery and long-term recovery stage where we have the ability to look at things, and we still are human. We have the ability to make choices, but now we're making choices that are more informed, and we're recognizing the choice and the action before we actually do it in most cases you know
Yeah.
Nikki made a great comment here, and I want to throw it up on the screen there. That her son struggles with addiction, and her heart is broken, but your videos help me understand. And Alex, that is one of the
Thank you,
key
Nikki.
things that you and your team are out there trying to do, is to make that connection. to the family as well as the person that struggles with addiction, but to help the family understand, what is it like for the addict? What is the mindset of the addict? What are we thinking? What are we going through when we're going through this process?
Well, we also that thank you, Nikki. Thank you so much. It, but these are made for you. These are made for you and your family, no matter who is struggling. We work to make as many. Our goal is to tell as many stories from the loved one's perspective as from the patient, the client, the
Mhm.
person struggling. Right? Because we're all in this together, and nothing. Being somebody who's struggling with substance use is no more isolating than being somebody who loves someone struggling with with substance abuse,
Yeah.
right? Like for every one of me, there are 5 to 10 of you. So really, it's just like we're in this together, and it's really important that it's more about just like finding those ways of how can I relate? How can I emotionally understand? You can't relate and understand what it's like for me to not be able to not have just one drink, but you can relate to how I feel because you feel how I feel about something else. And so that's the magic of movies, right? Movies are never about the circumstance they seem to be about, right? They're not about this girl who has a problem with drinking, right? It's not about the Avengers fighting Thanos. That's not what movies are about. They are always about our universally relatable human experiences and emotional journeys regarding shame, connection, relationships, overcome adversity, trial and error, like success and failure. And so that's why we're using movies to do exactly that for you, for me, for your son, for everybody. Because if you can start to emotionally relate, then we've broken through a barrier. And so it's just as important that we tell stories from your perspective so that I and your son can watch it, be like, oh my God, I didn't realize that you feel the same way. I didn't realize that we're not so different and that maybe we have a lot more in common. And it gives me a way to talk to you about what I'm going through in a way that helps both of us and improve that feeling of being isolated and improve that sense of belonging and connection. So that's what we're here to do. Thank you so much for saying that.
Yeah, Nikki, thank you so much. And we really hope that your son is going to make it through this. I work as a mental health professional, and he has a long journey ahead of him. But it's when he comes out of the other side, it's definitely going to be worth it. And please follow our show, come onto the show, and we have so many people here that will offer support and help you. There's also community groups out there to help with people that are affected by substance users or alcoholics, Al-Anon or Nar-Anon, depending on what group you might feel comfortable with. So I always encourage family members to reach out to those communities as well, as an additional support that they can utilize. So Alex, let's talk a little bit about, so we talked a little bit about how your films can be used in a treatment setting. But one thing that you talked to me about is that you are actually getting your films so that is part of a structured program that can be utilized within the treatment setting. So, we would call it like a didactic group where we're shown information and then we process the information, right? And there's usually handouts and things that go along with it. So your staff and you are in the process of creating a program that a treatment center can utilize as part of their treatment program. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah. Thank you so much for bringing that up. We are, if you go to ofsubstance.org, you can check out our films and programs. And in there, you can see tools for professionals. We are currently building a portal for professionals, counselors, whether you work at a rehab, whether you're in private practice, whether you are running a on-campus counseling center at a university or college. What we're building is a portal that allows you to access all of our films as tools to use in your sessions, in your groups. They're also going to be accompanied by clinical guides that are there to help you enhance and expedite the outcomes that you can have with your patients and your clients. So you watch a film, use them as you like, right? Watch Trapped that we just watched, and know that you can touch on patience, forgiveness, early recovery, family dynamics, relapse, and know that would be a good one to touch on with your group today. We have clinical guides that are on those topics that help you with objectives, with guiding questions, with teaching moments like alcohol myopia or Stockholm syndrome, and then even creative activities to engage in. These are to lift up your groups, lift up your sessions, but also to expedite those outcomes that you can have, because it's just so much easier for somebody who's not really opening up yet to project onto the story that they just saw, to be emotionally primed so that they might be more vulnerable sooner, right? So yeah, that's where we're starting. We have a lot of vision of where we're going, but that's where we're starting. We are working on that right now, and we are working to have that portal available to you beginning of Q3 of 2022. I can't believe I say words like Q3 or terms like Q3 now. But if you go to the website, there is a button to sign up and send us your information. Hi, I'm a treatment professional who is interested in this. Put me on the list. I'd like to hear about it when it's available. Please go to upsubstance.org, films and programs, and sign up. We'd love to get in touch as soon as it's ready.
Yeah. I think it's so amazing, Alex. Man, I love interviewing you, brother. So let me ask you, what are some of the biggest misconceptions people might have about the short film industry, that you could talk about and kind of clear the air for?
Wow. Misconceptions around the short film industry. I don't even know that there is an industry because there's no market, right? I think that's why when Brian first said to me, hey, we were making one short film, and then he's like, hey, we should make another short film. That'd be a good one about addiction. I said, yeah, you're right. It would be. He's like, we should make it. I was like, you're out of your goddamn mind. I'm not making another short film. Short films are the best product that have no market and no ROI. They don't have any purpose. They take time, they take money, they take friendships, they take effort, they take favors, and then they don't go anywhere. Filmmakers make short films to send to short film festivals as a calling card. So maybe somebody's like, oh, you're not a bad director. Hey, let's talk to you and make something else. But it's the most expensive calling card and resume you can possibly have. But that's not, that's terrible. So like the short film industry is a place where people are just like, hey, I just want to make something, and then it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's terrible. That's so terrible, because there are great talented people out there making really great short films, but they have no purpose. So what we're trying to do at Of Substance is change that and at least give them some purpose so that they can have some value and they can do something. So I think we're actually trying to create the short film industry in a way, right?
That's wonderful.
I don't know. Maybe
now
that's arrogant to say.
No, I think it's really interesting, because now that you mention it, I'm like, what short films have I seen in the theater?
Right? But
Brett,
there are so many good ones.
Yeah, Brett, that would have been a perfect cue for crickets.
I don't know that. Do I have crickets?
Oh man, you have every sound out there.
Do I have crickets? I don't
Brett,
know if I do or not.
no,
I
you
have
used
too
to
many
see short
pages
films.
to scroll through.
Yeah.
Can't you just type in crickets?
No, because we have our soundboards.
Oh, I do.
So
have
like
crickets. That's not a good one.
that's great. So like our soundboards, all my camera down. Oh, I'm not even on that camera. Okay. Yep, sorry guys. We won't be moving the camera down because I'd have to move my whole monitor. But
at the beginning of movies, they used to have like short, animated pieces, right? And cartoons and stuff, right? But so that's what we want to do. We want to bring that back, but with like, imagine just starting a movie with a short film that has purpose, that makes you like you're not even ready for this rom-com because you're going to see like Avengers, and next thing you know, some rom-com happens and you're just like, oh my God, I understand my husband better. Oh my God, I understand my husband better.
Dude, I think
Right.
you're totally onto something because they show trailers in films, right? But why not start a feature film with a short to spark conversation? Or why don't you have a short to spark conversation about what the feature film is about?
So like it's funny that you say that. Like I'm speaking at a
Mhm.
film conference in June that's about
Uh-huh.
the future of storytelling, and they brought me in to talk about impact. Like people are
Okay.
going to be talking about like making the old west new again with Yellowstone
Perfect.
and
Yeah,
things
yeah.
like that and using cryptocurrency. They're just like, Alex, we want you to talk about we want you to help the filmmakers by talking to them about making their films more impactful and their
Mhm.
entertainment more impactful.
Right.
And I was like, cool. I'm going to do the opposite.
Mhm.
I think that that's broken thinking, and
Mhm.
that's the issue that we have. Instead, I want to talk about how we make impact entertaining.
Mm.
If we're focusing primarily on the entertainment, on the craft, on the thing that you
Mhm.
make, then we're missing it. Then impact is an afterthought, right?
Yeah.
But it's like what you guys do, right? It's not that you guys are making podcasting impacting, right? You're making impact like a great thing to get through podcasts, right? It's just like,
Yeah.
what do I want to do? What is the goal, right?
Mhm.
And then it's just like, how can I use the thing that I do to achieve the goal, right?
Mhm.
But if it's
Yeah.
just like somewhat masturbatory and it's just like, I want to make a film and I want to tell my story, then
Mhm.
it's just like it's a little it misses that connection, right? It
Yeah.
misses that like that thing where it's about everyone else. So
Mm.
so yeah, I think that that's what we're really trying to do is we're trying to make entertainment or make impact entertaining, and we're trying to
Mm.
change the way that we think about what it is we do and why. Because James Joyce said that in the particular lies the universal,
Mhm.
right? And to me, how I translate that as a filmmaker and as a storyteller is the more honest and open and truthful and authentic you are about
Mhm.
what you actually believe, think, feel, and experience, the more
Yeah.
surprised you'll be that the majority of other people identify with that and agree with
Right.
that. So it's up to us to be really vulnerable in what we do. It's what you guys do with Recovery
Yeah.
Revolution Live. It's just like let's get nitty, get gritty, and get real. So
Yeah.
yeah, man. Um,
Yeah.
I'd love to just like we're making another short film next month
Mhm.
in May. And so it's a horror rom-com that's a monster
Okay.
movie
Cool.
about a young couple where she gets surprised that he's come over for her birthday or anniversary or something,
Mm.
and she's pissed off that he's there because she is turning into a monster. Like,
Mm.
literally, it's a full moon, and she's turning into a monster, and
Mm.
she is upset that he's going to see her like this, and she thinks that
Mm.
this monster inside is what keeps her from having long-term relationships, being loved, and true connection,
Mm.
and so that's what we explore in this piece, and
Mhm.
so, we're really excited to be doing it. We're shooting it the week of MTV's Mental Health Action Day, so the way we're
Mm.
activating is
Mhm.
by bringing people together to be part of bringing this film to life. The
Yeah.
people who struggle with bipolar disorder, people who struggle with addiction, people who struggle
Mhm.
with workaholism, right? And
Yeah.
so that's how we're activating and we're working to bring this film to life and bring it to the masses and help
Mhm.
everybody recognize that that thing that they think is ugly inside of them is actually totally beautiful, and it's just what makes you unique because we all have that thing that's ugly
Right.
inside of us, and it's not something that should keep you away from
Mm.
others. It's a thing that actually, even though it looks a little bit different, it's a thing we all have in common, and we want you to own it. We want you to feel empowered by it. And so imagine feeling that way from a horror rom-com that makes you laugh and makes you scared and makes you piss yourself and
Mm.
makes you connect with everybody else in the room. So
Yeah.
we're actually getting support from MTV, and we're starting to
Wow.
partner with a couple of other pretty big mental health organizations,
That's really awesome.
and we're starting to get a lot of things, a lot of momentum behind that. And I'd
Mm.
love to, if there's still opportunity for people to be involved and people to
Mhm.
join in this impact. If people would go to hideyourcrazyfilm.com, um,
Mhm.
hideyourcrazyfilm.com.
Yes.
That's the website for the film. And the first thing up there is join us, share, follow, donate. Just be a part of it. We want you to be involved. It's important that this movie and making it is an activity of love
Yes.
that you get to be a part of.
Great. And thank you, Brett, for throwing that up there.
Thanks, Brett.
And Alex, quick on the keys.
So good, dude.
Fear the beard. If Alex, let us know if there's anything that we can do at the Recovery Revolution Live to help promote or to help spread the word about this, because I think this is, I mean, with the work you guys do is so tremendous, and it's so impactful. I don't even think we realize, we can conceptualize the impact that the work that you guys are doing now is going to have on the future.
Carl, marry me, man. Marry me.
Sorry, I already spoke before, Alex. But
fine, but I love you anyway. Know that I love you.
Oh man. Yeah. But I mean, really though, I mean, because the work that you're doing, the quality of the work that you're doing is so great that this is going to be recognized by larger entities, and it already is starting to, picking up the MTV, picking up other large mental health organizations to raise awareness about this. I mean, man, it's going to be such a privilege to watch the growth of Substance and your crew and your team and the movies and everything else. I'm honored to be here and present in order to watch you guys grow. So thank you for that.
You're killing me, man. You're killing me, Smalls. Thank you, Carl. I really appreciate it. But,
Absolutely.
you know, you bring up a really good point, which is like, where are we going? Like, what's the big vision of where this goes? And like I said before, it's not about addiction, right? It's about that thing that we all have in common around shame, a fear of not belonging, and a fear of not being good enough. And so we're using addiction to prove the efficacy of the tool and build a market for short films as tools for behavioral change. But the thing is, once this works for addiction, why wouldn't it work for everything that makes us feel shame? From LGBT shame to being Black in America to like to bipolar disorder to having a child who's autistic to being the like child of divorce to being a widow, right? To getting your first period, to menopause, to bullying, to being Jewish. Like, I mean, it's just like everything that makes us feel othered, everything that makes us feel different. That's what we're working toward. We're starting with addiction, but this is not about addiction. My goal is world peace. Okay. I honestly believe that if we can help everybody feel more seen, heard, and loved and recognize that they're already enough, the world will be a much better place.
Oh yeah.
Seriously.
Absolutely.
So that's the idea, man.
Yeah. You know, and dude, every time I talk to you, I get like 100 movie ideas flooding my head, dude. Flooding. Do you have a pen right now? Because I have two. I'm going to throw at you.
Yeah, this one's going to be about a podcaster.
No, it's not going to be about a podcaster, but that's a great one. Okay, so I got 3 movie ideas for you, Alex. No, I've got 2. All right, so you and I'm definitely willing to help on this one because I have a lot of experience with it. Good. But you know the movie Mask with Jim Carrey? Yeah. I describe addiction as a mask. And we carry these masks around us in order to blend into an environment that we don't necessarily intend to be in. And how can we break free from this mask that has overtaken our lives in order for us to feel like we belong?
Dude, have you watched First Date on our site yet?
So no, did I just describe First Date?
No, but that's the thing. See, like when we first came up with, so First Date is a 10-minute romantic comedy. That's actually my wife and I as the actors on a first date, and he's newly sober. And the mechanism of it is it's split screen, seeing both of them simultaneously. But whenever they're in the same room, like it's full screen, right? But they keep splitting up. And so the thing is, it's like whenever they're on screen, he's hiding something. And whenever he's in the bathroom, it's who he really is, right? And how he's really freaking out in his anxiety. And it's all about the masks we wear. right?
Yeah.
That's how I talk about it. And so we've got this like trope of just like splitting the screen, and we want to
Mhm.
make several more of those between like mom and son, right? Between
Yeah.
like different relationships of just like how am I and what am I not saying and what am I hiding,
Right.
like that I'm showing honestly behind closed doors. And so
Right.
it's a chance to invite people behind closed doors. But dude, it's such a great idea. And I wrote it down because it's like it's an amazing idea. Because when I first came up with this, my old boss was just like, Alex, you're going to run out of content so fast. I'm like,
Mhm.
you're out of your goddamn mind. I'm never going to run out of content because there may be a finite number of things to say about
Mhm.
addiction, but
Right.
there is an infinite number of ways to say it and an
Right.
infinite number of perspectives and
Right.
viewpoints and everything else. So I love that idea. That's super
Okay.
cool.
So I want to throw something else with the same idea. And I think the perspective would be a mirrored perspective. So there's a really good TV series that is out right now. Oh, it's called Moon. What is it called? It's
Moon
on
Knight.
Disney. It's on
Moon
Disney,
Knight.
right?
Yeah.
Right. And so when he's in the mirror seeing his other self, that is his avatar, essentially,
hmm
and that avatar has a whole world that is its own inside of the mirror. And so if you can have the person break through that mirrored image of themselves where the reflection is the mask doing all of the stupid stuff or all of, trying to blend into this environment, and inside of that person is that scared person that doesn't know how to deal with the sense of themselves, and in the end the mirror breaks and it's just the one person.
Right? I mean, we are multifaceted beings with just
Yeah.
like who are just trying to juggle so many different sides of ourselves and
Hmm.
trying to find harmony in it. It's a beautiful idea. Carl, we got to do some
Thank you.
shit, man. This is
Yeah,
going to be
let's
a lot
do
of
it, man.
fun.
Let's do it. I've never done anything in the film industry, but I have. This has sparked a vision. I can see it in my head.
Good. So
Um,
can I.
yeah,
Like it's a great visual. It's a great idea.
I
Thank
think
you.
it would be a
And like
really impactful one
just so
too.
you know, anytime
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
No, I think it would be super impactful too, because
Oh,
you know,
absolutely. So
yeah.
relatable, so identifiable, and that's what we're trying to do is just like we tell stories all the time. Like this is how we pass
Hmm.
down information.
Yeah.
And like documentaries, blogs, like podcasts, everything is
Hmm.
great and everything is worthwhile. Movies up everything 100% because we
Yeah.
immerse you in it in a instant in a way that's
Right.
just like it. Somebody said to me the other day, they're like, holy shit, you're Trojan horsing behavioral transformation.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah,
oh, it's
dude, that's
exactly what
big.
we're doing, right? That's big. That's
That's
genius. That's
huge, man.
huge. It's like, hey, I'm not going to talk at you. I'm not going to tell you my story and make you listen to me. I'm going to just give you something. I'm
Yeah.
going to give you something that you want in a way that's just like immersive, that you love, that you're entertained by, and I'm going to respect you in the way that I tell you this story. I'm not
Hmm.
going to patronize you, and I'm not going to tell you this is what you're supposed to learn and this is the lesson, right? I'm
Yeah.
going to let you take it for yourself because there's so much to take from it. And that's
Oh,
the other thing about this. These are renewable resources because
yes.
you can watch Trap today and take something from it, but the version of you 6 months from
Mhm.
now can watch it again, take a whole different angle from it and a
Dude,
whole
it's like
different lesson.
it's like the second time or third or fourth or fifth time you do your steps. It's like a
Right.
whole different version of yourself, but you're asking the same questions, but hopefully you've had so much to develop on, and it took me 2 years to complete my first round, but but in the course of 2 years, and I look back at my first step and my second step and my third step, fourth and fifth, and I look back at the original work that I did, and it's so crazy because it's the same exact questions, but we're taking it from a different perspective now. Because of that perspective shift, now we're able to answer these questions in even more intelligent detail and depth than maybe previously before.
Yeah, it's not a road that ends, right?
No.
It's just like I work with a coach and like she 4.5 years I've been working with my coach,
Mhm.
and I just like she used to give me all these tools. Like every week she'd give me a new tool.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, okay, now that you've given me all the tools, like we don't have to work together as much. She's like, are
Mhm.
you out of your goddamn mind? Like this is not something that ends. It's not just like
Right?
you get the tools.
Yeah.
It's not that the road is long, it's that the road is deep. And
Right.
you just keep going deeper. And as you
Mhm.
break through the next level, as you peel off the next layer of the onion, you ask the same question and you ask it from a completely different perspective.
Mhm.
And you ask it as a whole new person with new experiences, just like make you realize, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So my second movie idea, Alex, and grab a pencil because you're going to want to write this one down too.
This is
Um,
your third, by the way. I already have two.
oh,
written
okay,
down.
okay, cool, man. All right. So I was in the Marine Corps, and there are a lot of veterans out there who struggle with post traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, and I think it would be really cool to do a story of PTSD revolving around a veteran who is now at home in the shopping center, but it just like you did with the bar where it cut to a white screen, man. What if you did a black screen with nothing in front of it, and all you have are sounds of war and sounds of, while they were over there, and then it flashes back that they're in the middle of a shopping center waiting in line to pay for their groceries.
It's good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Trapped. Black screen in the war.
Yeah.
And there's so many ways you could go with that. I mean,
Yeah. Oh, it's
my grandfather had his best friend was a World War II vet, and he couldn't go in any rooms that had moving ceiling fans because it reminded him of helicopters. Like
yes,
anything,
dude. And then what if you finished it up with like a little kid grabbing onto the pant leg of the veteran and saying, "Daddy, can we go home now?"
Oh, yeah, I'm writing it down. Oh, you're killing me, man.
I swear, Alex, I have no I have a pretty creative imagination, but I've never done a film. But it would be really fun to help you in the process of some of these if they come to the table and you think you might want to do one of them. Please reach out, and I would love to be a part of it. And if there's time permitting, I would even love to fly down and see the process, man.
Dude, are you kidding me? That's what we do. So I guess the last thing I'll mention today is that
Yeah.
like we've made all of our films to date, but that's
Mhm.
not the idea. Like
Right.
Brian and I are just two white dudes from the Northeast. Like we couldn't have a more limited perspective on the world if we tried.
Right.
And that's not helpful for everybody. That's not helpful for anybody. So what the vision of what we want to do is just as much as we make films to help people feel seen, heard, and loved and create a
Mhm.
sense of belonging, it's also about how we make the films. So
Mm.
Carl or anybody on listening, it's just like, do you have an idea for a film or just that lesson that helped you like overcome
Mhm.
something or get and
Yeah.
stay sober or something? We
Yeah.
want to hear it. So we have a button on our site that's just like, share your story, tell us your
Mm.
story, inspire our next short film. If you submit it to us, we have a running collection of stories and submissions all the time that our team is going through with regularity because like even though it didn't click this week, it might click with us next week. So we're constantly going back through. And if your story clicks with us one week, we reach out to you and we connect you with a film professional to help
Mhm.
you be part of crafting your story into our next short 5-minute rom-com. Once
Yeah.
it's done with scripting and it goes into production, we invite you to come to set with some friends
Mm.
or some family members and be part of bringing it to life with the volunteer filmmakers who have donated a day of their time with us as
Yeah.
with Habitat for Humanity, all working together to
Yeah.
breathe life into your story and your film. And then once it's done, it goes into our system and it impacts another life and inspires the next story to be
Wow.
shared. So yeah, Carl, every time you have ideas, write them down. I mean, you
Okay.
can just email me, or go on
I'll
the
text you.
site and fill out that form of just like,
Yeah.
what about this one? Because I'm always
Okay.
looking. And anybody listening, go to ofsubstance.org and go to share your story under join
Mhm.
us. And that's where you just press a button and you tell us your story and we will
Yeah.
reach out. We want to hear your story, and we don't want to take it from you. We want to breathe life into it and make you the star of it. We
Yes.
want to lift you up and make sure you feel empowered around your story.
Right.
So come share it with us so we can share everything with you.
I want to change my ending, Alex.
Okay. I don't know that I'll let you. Go for it.
Okay, I'm gonna blow. Are you sitting down? Because I'm
I
I'm about
am.
to blow. I'm about to blow the roof off of this thing.
Oh, God.
So instead of the kid, now this is going to be a little controversial, but what if a hand reaches down and grabs the veteran's hand, who's shaking, sweaty palms, going through this moment, and the veteran is a male veteran, or it could be a female veteran, right? But the hand is the spouse or significant other or the partner, same sex as the veteran, telling them it's okay, it's going to be safe, and they can go home now, to help support the LGBTQ plus community that serve our armed forces, and also the stigma around a male populated military who is testosterone driven. And I think that it would even be more impactful for two gay men to have this interaction, because it wouldn't be seen as that until the very end. And so it would really, I think it would be very impactful for that.
It's a great idea. It's a beautiful idea. And that's what we're always trying to do, is like, we're trying to cover grief. Like we have some pieces written about overdosing or overdoses. That's not about overdoses. It's about grief. It's about how that affects the other high school students in the class after a loss, the parents, the child of the parent who overdosed. It's about grief. It's about everything else, not just like the act of somebody overdosing. We have another film that we have to redo, unfortunately, that we've already shot, but it's one woman in a car knocking on a door of a house. Nobody's home. So she decides to read this letter to the house symbolically. And it is a letter to her, to the father of her best friend who passed away. And she tells a story about, I'm sorry I wasn't at the funeral. The day after she overdosed, I checked myself into rehab. I was her best friend in the service. There weren't many like us, so we got along, insinuating that they were both gay. And also that she was there when the IED hit, and she pulled her to cover. But once they got back, she went into the infirm and they put her on a morphine drip and they let her go. And when she finally got discharged, she found her and she was using heroin at that point. She was shooting up, and she was just like, I was in my own pain and I know I should have helped her, but I didn't. I joined her. So we started using together, and we were in a shitty motel outside Ankara, and I was helping her find a vein, and I found one in her leg, and I shot her up. So it was me. I did it. I killed your daughter.
Wow.
And I didn't mean to. I'm sorry. She was my best friend. It ruined my life. But after that moment, it woke me up. I got sober, and I'm 5 years sober now. I run a nonprofit. I'm engaged. I'm in love. And I'm helping people. And I think that she would be really happy for me. But I know you may never forgive me. But I promise you, I don't know that I can ever forgive myself. And then there's more to it. But we're not saying that she didn't commit manslaughter. We're not saying that she should or should not go to jail. We're not saying anything like that. We're just saying bad shit happens to good people. And this is a very complicated situation. And we are just trying to humanize all of us for the trauma that we all go through. And so, like, she was a vet, she was gay, right? Heroin,
all the
overdose.
things.
Yeah. So you're thinking just like I'm thinking, man.
Man.
These are important stories that need to be told, and important perspectives that need light brought to them, and important and very challenging societal norms, quote unquote, that need to be broken. And we're working to break those. But through a rom-com. Where we
Rom-com.
can.
Scream 8.
Scream 8.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. That'll be the show of the masks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, man. Well, oh, dude, this has been such a good show, man.
Thanks, guys.
Wow, Alex, brother, you know what, man, I can't, I don't even know what to say, man. I just, this whole episode has been like a roller coaster of emotion, man. Like it really has been. And I just feel so privileged to be present to talk about these topics with you, and to read the comments on the side on people that are hearing the message that we're talking about right now, and the help that we're giving people even in the current moment is just it's terrific. So Brett, do you have anything you would like to ask Alex before we kind of wrap the show up? Or
I was going to ask him if he was familiar with the Real Recovery Film Festival.
I am. Leonard, we had 4 of our films in it this past year, and I've made friends with
I watched
Leonard
a bunch
Bushell.
of them.
Oh yeah, Leonard.
Do you know Leonard?
Yeah, Leonard was on the show. Yeah.
Oh, no kidding.
And
yeah.
Abra.
Yeah.
And Abra.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Leonard and Abra are friends. We're talking constantly about possibly collaborating and maybe us coming in and being a bigger part of
that would be great.
Real Recovery Film Festival. Yeah, it's they're tremendous people, and they've created something amazing. And
yes,
yeah, man.
Yeah,
you guys know everybody, don't you?
Well, we
no, not yet.
Brett knows more people than I do. Brett knows more people than I do. But it's not about popularity, is it, Brett?
It's about who you know.
Right? It all goes back to who you know. Amen. Right, Heather? We'll throw that one up there. Thank you very much. And you get a bell for that one. Thank you, Brett. So, all right. Oh, let's see. So Alex, let's start to wrap things up a little bit. But your films talk about so many different topics, and your films have people with such emotion, and even the story you just told us here, and I didn't even have a film to visualize, but inside of my own head I was able to make that visualization of that person going back to the family and saying, I was the one that caused this. Right. I want to take a step back, and I want to talk a little bit about self-care, because I think self-care is one of the most important things that we have to be aware of in order for us to maintain where we are and moving within a somewhat or a forward motion. So what is the number one thing you do for self-care to help your mental well-being, to help your physical well-being? What's the number one thing you like to do?
I love to pet my dog, but of course meditate, and also just like they're the things you do, but then there's something deeper, and this happened to me this week. I know there's this language, and people are saying this all the time. It's just like you have to hold space for things, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to hold space for gratitude. You have to hold space for the life you want, your wellness. And I go for walks, and I meditate, and I practice gratitude. I do the exercises. I do the things I'm supposed to do. But I just realized just this week, as I've been getting better at taking things off the huge pile on top of my plate, I'm then able to see that now with a normal size plate, it's still just filled with all work and worry about money and the normal things. And there's no mental, emotional, and spiritual capacity left to actually have any space for my mental wellness. And so I realized just this week, actually on Monday, then I feel like a bit of a fraud where I'm just like, I'm doing all the things, but
Yeah.
I'm not actually really doing it. And
Right.
so that's where I'm at right now, where like I have those activities, I have those exercises, I have gratitude, I have meditation, vision work, and I have like petting my dog and going for walks and everything else. But if I don't replace the peas on this dinner plate with some space that's like 20% all the time for actual gratitude and experiencing it, then it doesn't matter. So that's where I'm at right now. And I know that's not really an answer for like what I do, but really I think that's that underlying thing that I hope that if somebody's hearing this right now, it's just like
Yeah.
consider what you're doing and what you're spending your time thinking about. Because if your thoughts are all the time filled with worry, then there's no space for taking that walk to even experience any ease. So reconsider how you're spending your thoughts. Are you spending them or are you investing them?
Hmm. All right, Alex. And just one last question for you, and then we're going to wrap the show. But what can you tell somebody that maybe is interested in getting into the film industry, maybe is interested in starting acting or getting involved with storytelling? What can you tell that listener right now?
Um, yeah, just go make something. Honestly, anybody who tells you this is how you do it, don't listen to them. Go just explore for yourself. You want to tell a story? Number one, figure out why you want to tell that story. And then if you figure out why you want to tell that story and you realize that maybe making a movie about it is not the best way for you to explore and discover who you are and how you can actually communicate that story, then maybe don't make a film. Maybe write a book, learn to draw, like do something, build a company, because it's not about what you do, it's about why you do it. But
Mhm.
in the end, just go. Just go try. You want to make a film, you want to do film, write a short story, write a short script. Write a script about struggle and send it to me. That's what you should do.
All right. Well, everybody, I hope you guys have enjoyed the episode with Alex Kaplan today. Brett and I most certainly have. Alex, we want to thank you again for coming on to the show today and sharing your experience and talking about the of substance movement that is happening right now.
Oh God, I love you. You just called it a movement. Oh, I call it a movement. Nobody else calls it a
Oh
movement. You're
man,
my hero.
but it really is, brother. So, like Alex said, go out and be creative. Do not let fear hold you back from your own success. If you want to visit Alex at ofsubstance.org, go ahead and follow the link, and we will have all the information in the show notes that will be listed after the podcast and the YouTube have been published. And again, we're going to thank Alex Kaplan of Substance for joining us today. And this is Carl Fessenden and we're Brett Morris signing off. And Brett, why don't you close our show out tonight?
I would love to close out the show. I'm trying to find all of our different fancy slides because I was in the wrong spot.
Okay. Do you need me to start talking?
No, you're good.
Oh, okay.
I got it. If you guys are joining us on YouTube, please remember to hit the subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you know when we go live, which, if you guys haven't figured out, is every Thursday night. Also, the Sober app is now available on the Android platform. So if you are an Android user, as of today, that is now live in the Google Play Store. So be sure to download that and sign up and join us over there on the Sober. If you guys would like to send us a message to use on the show, you can go to speak-2.us/RRL and leave us a voice message. We're also going to be using that same service, I believe, for the Doc Marty Ask Doc Marty section that we're working on. Is that correct, Carl?
That is correct, Brett. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing, I think we're going to develop a whole webpage for it, because there are some legal things that we want to put out there for you guys. And it's going to be a little bit scripted so that we kind of get to the point of the question relatively quickly. And once we start gathering data from that, we're going to send it over to Dr. Marty Lejoie, and he is going to come on to the show. And we're going to do a couple of questions as a clinical psychologist. He's going to answer some of these questions. And I want to preference everybody, we're not treating you. This isn't going to be a therapy session. We are going to be responding in kind of a general manner, but he is a licensed clinical psychologist. So there is some heft that goes behind what he's talking about. He definitely knows what he's talking about. So I think it's going to be a really fun segment.
Yeah, and thank you for not trying to ask me to say his last name, because I would have totally butchered that.
I say his name before I go to bed every night.
Lejoie. Awesome. Oh yeah, I didn't tell you about this. I have a special little Carl soundbite that I pulled this week.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. I think everybody's gonna love it. Everybody
Please,
that's
bring
stuck
it on.
around. This is like the extra bonus feature you get with your DVD.
Yeah, this is our B-roll.
Yep.
Bro, I made 2 sheets of bacon.
Dude, when did you record that? Was that on the trip to Monterey that I was talking about bacon? Because I talk about bacon a lot, but
I don't know. I found it in my
sounded like-
it in my voicemail.
oh,
And so I
dude,
pulled that out
that
of my
is
voicemail.
great. Okay, this is a good learning experience for everybody out there.
Don't leave me
Voicemails are forever.
Oh.
But it was Farmer John's bacon, and they do have the best bacon out there. I'm just putting it out there. $4.25 for about 15
Well, at least
minutes.
see Heather stuck around. She got the little bonus clip.
Yeah, Heather,
I'm sure
thank
I'll
you.
use
Hey,
it some
5
more.
people are here, Brett. I mean, come on, we got to give
we
them
still got a
credit.
few.
Now down to 4. Okay, wow.
Thank you guys so much for
Dropping
being
like
here. Thanks for all
flies.
your comments.
Yeah.
So
Oh man. Well,
bring
Alex,
it with you always.
dude, this is such a pleasure, man. I just can't. Please reach out to me this week or next week, and I definitely want to jump on some of these ideas that we've been talking about. And I think it would be really cool to if one of these goes into a production thing, is to, since we talked about it on the show, is to come down and do a live remote on set, and we can go live on Facebook and YouTube on set, and we can do a behind the scenes from the Recovery Revolution live.
Guys, no joke. We should do that. If we can do that weekend,
Yeah.
we should do that, because it's Global Mental Health Action Day through Viacom, CBS, and MTV's, and we're trying to get as much promotion. We're starting to build relationships with, like, I'm not going to say their names yet, but but that would be awesome, because we have people on set who, again, like, struggle with bipolar disorder, struggle with addiction, or love people who have. And so, like, that would be a really amazing episode.
So Alex, we might need one of your staff members to man a camera to follow whomever would be out there. But we could probably set it up where we could link it up. Maybe we could even do a show, and we could have a remote reporter come out on set.
Great idea. Great idea.
And we could almost do like a little, like, hi, live from the set of On Substance and wherever we're going to be filming, USA.
Super cool.
Yeah.
I volunteer to be a gaffer.
Again, what's a gaffer?
Always need a gaffer.
What's
a gaffer?
Come on, man, be a professional, Carl.
What? No, seriously, what's a gaffer?
Lighting.
I'm embarrassed.
Oh, lighting. Yes, Brett, will you be the lighting person?
I can do that. I also want to do the gaff tape.
Oh, okay.
I love taping cords down.
Yes.
So
the gaff tape. Is it almost as satisfying as 2 sheets of bacon?
It's more satisfying.
Oh, yes.
I love it. I love it.
That 2 sheets of bacon reminds me of that commercial back in the 80s where they were frying eggs, saying, "This is your brain on drugs." Do you remember that?
That was before I was born.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Alex. Oh my gosh.
I'm a child. with a beard.
Yeah, Brett's only 29.
I'm 30.
Nice beard, man.
Yeah, dude. Seriously.
I'm in my
I
30s
love how
now,
you-
Carl.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. You're able to
Brett, the
vote.
way that you correct him so calmly is beautiful. Like you don't give a shit. You're just used to it. It's just like
I abuse him all the time on air.
I spend
And
so much
off the
time with
air.
you, and you know nothing.
Yeah, and
about
off the
me.
air too. And off the air. Man. And Brett and I have only known each other for what? 4 months, 5 months?
We met when you came on my podcast.
Yeah.
but
I
can't
reached
remember
out to
when that
him
was.
and said I think I'd be a great guest for your podcast.
Yeah, you did.
And,
You started that ball rolling of I think
Yeah.
I would be good for this.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah,
one
the
of your
promotion.
it's one of your top listed podcast episodes, isn't it?
Ha.
No, JR still holds that spot.
Oh, dude, JR. But JR cheats, man. He sends it out to the world.
I mean, you
like-
could have sent it out to the world.
I did. But just not JR's world.
Your-
JR's
I was gonna
world
say,
is so much
your
bigger
world's
than ours.
just smaller.
Yeah.
don't have
I'm
the
more
connection.
localized. More localized. So all right, guys. Well, Alex, again, it's been a pleasure having you on, man. And if you guys want to catch Alex, go to ofsubstance.org. You can find his shorts there. Videos, not his shorts.
Film.
Films.
I
Thank
call
you.
them mini movies.
Mini movies. The M squareds.
M squared.
Yes,
I
M
like
squared.
that. I'm gonna get there. We're gonna get there. We're gonna normalize that. People are just gonna be like, "You see
Yeah.
that new M squared?"
Yeah, that mini movie right there. That's the new M squared.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it's almost like yeah, dude, you should totally make a t-shirt that says I work on the newest M squared
Awesome.
for your staff.
Awesome.
So when they're on
Love it.
set, they can have that sitting on the back of their dude, that would be a great little promotional thing because pretty soon people are going to start getting them and they come out on set one day and you get a free t-shirt.
Yeah. Actually, we're doing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
For this next one. We have swag. And it's just
Nice.
like, hey, how do we give away more swag? I'm like, no. We keep those. We give them to the people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you got some cool looking swag coming up, let us know, and maybe we could even do it as a promotional because we do
giveaway.
sponsored shows giveaways. Just saying.
Oh, dude, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's great.
So
Thank you.
yeah, usually
Yeah.
like a t-shirt or a hoodie or something, and and then we do a drawing on during the episode, and yeah, we actually haven't
That's
done one
awesome,
in a
man.
while, Brett.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll
it's been
do
a
that.
couple weeks. JR's dropped the ball. It's his fault.
He hasn't
That's all
promoted
that
his book. He hasn't put his book out there again.
Wait, JR wrote a book? No, I'm kidding. That was mean. Oh,
That
man.
was mean, JR.
There-
Brett did
there-
not mean
I
it.
just put your book on the screen. JR.
Oh, okay.
For everyone that's
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys.
No giveaway.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, you're welcome, man. All right, Brett. Take it away, brother.
Yeah, well, I already did all the closing announcements, so I don't really have
Oh.
a whole lot to say other than remember
So
it's
melodramatic.
progress, not perfection.
Not perfection.
Have a good night, everybody. See you next Thursday.